In this video, we're going to run through Raymondo Floyd's top 10 things that amateurs do wrong on the golf course and how to remedy them. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. As a newly minted IDGAF professional, it's time to get a bit more serious. No more mockery, no more satire, no more jokes on this channel. First issue that he has with us is that we underclub. So we're going to be hitting balls to the back edge of the green as our primary distance, not to the pin, to the back edge. Absolutely shocking, but the ball's in play. Mr. Raymondo Floyd also says that we are trying for too much when we're in trouble. That's number 2. And I think I'm in trouble here. It's a very bad shot. We still have 216 yards to the front. Now I can think to myself, I'm going to hit a wood through here, slice it onto the green, into the wind, but probably never going to happen. So what I'll do is I'll just try chip this back into the fairway. Not trying for too much, just trying for what I can do without losing this golf ball. With 166 yards to the front edge and 190 yards to the back edge, remember, Raymondo Floyd says we underclub a lot, so I'm going to hit to the back edge of 190 yards into the breeze. I'm going to take my 4-iron. Now what Raymondo Floyd also tells us that we're constantly misreading the ground and the lie conditions and then hitting the wrong shot for that lie and condition. So today we really want to focus on reading the lie of the golf ball as well. Here we are on some cow grass, which is my least favorite grass in the world, but to nullify the effect of cow grass for chipping, I like to use heel up chipping. I used to do toe down, now I do heel up chipping. It's far more reliable. And then we read the green. Pitched about halfway to the cup. Is going to be absolutely stinky winky. Oof, lovely shot, lovely shot. We've left ourselves about a 5-footer for the bogey. And Raymondo Floyd also tells us that we're hitting the ball too hard. When Raymondo Floyd tells us we're hitting too hard, let's not. Let's swing at a cool 85% tempo, and I bet that when we do that, we make better contact and flush the ball. Now Raymondo Floyd will say that we're often missing the greens in the wrong place, generally in the short side and not on the fat side. So, the pin is kind of in the middle of the green here, but we definitely don't want to be on the right-hand side because that's a short-sided bunker shot. Left and long is a pretty good shot here, or even short and a little bit right. So we have an easy chip. Now we read the turf conditions and we're in a great lie in the fairway, and we've got the back edge at 180 yards, so we're going to hit a 180-yard club to that back edge. Absolutely money. And very often we won't reach the back edge, and that's the exact point. Play the back edge number, because we very often think we hit the ball further and you very rarely actually hit the back edge number. I do, because I'm an IDGAF professional. Now Raymondo Floyd also tells us that as amateur golfers we underread putts like hell and we miss on the low side all the time. So today I'm going to go onto the side of the break and I'm going to add 50% to whatever that break is. So if I see a foot, I'm going to go plus 6 inches, so it's 18 inches. If I see 2 feet, I'll add another foot. Let's see how we do staying on the high side of life. Well, that was very high. That was very, very high. Raymondo Floyd tells us that we do not play far enough away from trouble. So on approach shot, we want to play to the fat side of the green, as well as away from trouble. This hole has a lot of trouble on it. There's a lot of water. And I'm not going to hit a driver here because I want to keep this golf ball, remember, $7 each. So I'm going to hit a club that stays in play, and then on the way to the green, we'll avoid trouble like hell, hitting very far away from it. Because trouble is where we get penalty strokes, and penalty strokes is the death of your score and your vibe. I like to keep things contextual here. Now, to play away from trouble on this hole means to stay out of the jungle, so this side has less jungle, and stay short of the water. You don't always have to just play to the side of water. When you're trying to break 90 or 100, staying short of hazards and penalty areas is actually perfect. You don't have to go as long as possible off the tee all the time and risk hazards. The main point of going the longest distance off the tee, the context behind it, is that you don't risk going into a hazard, especially if you're trying to break 90 or 100. So we can avoid hazards by staying short, hitting to the side, and hitting more than enough club to clear them. No 50-50 chance when you're going over water on the distance you're going to hit the ball. Take something sure to clear. 100 yards to clear this water. So We don't take on trouble, remember? We assess the lie, like Mr. Raimondo told us. This is a good lie in the fairway. But if it's out of the rough, check the lie out. If there's grass behind the ball, you may have to take more club just to get enough distance on the ball to clear 100 yards. If there's just a little bit of grass, it may be a flyer lie. You may need to take less club so it doesn't airmail the green. So from 100 yards into the wind here and 113 yards to the back, all I need to do is get this at back edge distance, 113 yards. When you hit a wedge harder, you create more spin. It goes higher, the wind smacks it even more, goes even shorter distances. A nice smooth wedgie going to come out with a nice penetrating ball flight, and it's going to go a much nicer distance and be less affected by the wind. So in a situation like this where I'm hitting 48, for some people who think you need to hit the ball firmer into the wind, maybe when you gear down and you just hit a 3/4 or a half shot, you're going to realize that you get much better results. Something else very important Mr. Raimondo tells us is that we play shots we don't practice. We just go out there and think we're going to hit this mega flop shot or this big slicer that we've never practiced, and we end up getting into more trouble. So on a hole like this, I often think I'm going to fader it there to the hole cut tight on the right side, but no, remember the fat side of the green. We don't actually, like Mr. Raimondo also tells us, just shoot at pins. We go for the middle of the green on the fat side. So what I like to use is the pin to the fat side edge and go right in between those two things. So what I'm going to do is go between this pin and the left edge with a shot I know how to hit, my standard stock 7-iron to the back edge of 166 yards. Just let's simplify it right down to just what we can do to places we can hit the ball. Of course, we have to be adaptable and take into account the context. I keep hitting the back edge of the green except on that par 5. So I'm going to adjust mine to the middle of the green because my distances are perfect. This is right on the back edge, about 1.5 yards, 2 yards off the back edge, which means that I'm over the back with a toughish chip when I could be center of the green. So once you know your distances, let's just play to the middle. And we just tap it down there for a little 2-3 footer. Well, it's a 4-footer. And I'm going to tell you a little secret right over here. If there's 1% slope, you start your putt just on the inside of the lip. 2% slope, half a cup. 3% slope, 1 cup. That's if the green speed is about 9 or 10. On green speeds a bit slower like these are maybe 8 or maybe 7.5, we can go a little straighter. So I think this is a 2% or 1.5% slope. So I'm going to go just outside the right edge and let it come in. It's very wide up there and there's no need to take on any unnecessary risk. We've got water in front of the green, and if I go in that, that's a penalty stroke. So let's stay short of that. Try set up a 100 or 120 yard shot over the water. Back edge, 8-iron from 127 because of the wind. No ego, I just want to clear this water. Whatever gets me over the water is what I hit. Wow, that wind really took it, huh? Slow down, slowly. Wow, it's almost impossible to stop because they've cut that pin on the middle of the slope. Not too bad. Wow, good line, but wrong strong. Let me add to what Raimondo is talking about. I believe there's a few things that really are the core principles of the way of the player, the golf sidekick way of playing golf. And that is, number 1, ball in play, ball in play, ball in play. Off the tee, almost nothing else matters besides just a ball in play. Number 1, that we can go toward the green undeterred, unhindered. Number 2, it's not OB or in water. You may have to hit a punch shot, but you're dry in play. The second one is guillotine. You saw it on the cap earlier. Get it on the green. Don't be greedy. Don't go for too much, like what Raimondo says, trying for too much. Get the ball onto the green, onto the fat side. Get yourself a putt. And there's one more thing I believe, that you need to know yourself. If you know yourself, you know your tendencies under certain conditions, on certain shots, under pressure, with people watching, when you're tired, when you're hungry, you can really adapt yourself and be better. 6-iron on a hell of a long hole. Why? Because the ball's going to go in play. And it's a terrible 6-iron, but it's in play. And it's just going to keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? We got 244 to the middle of the green. And because I like my 7-wood and it's pretty wide up there, I have a pretty wide area to hit the ball into. So we're not going to try for too much, dead at the pin. We're going to go at the left edge of the green. And if you look at that as like a field goal, our field goals go to the right of the pin and all the way up to the left-hand rough there. So we have a wide area up there with no real chance of a hazard or anything. So we're going to hit the 7-wood here because it's something we can do very often. So we've got the ball to green side after a 6-iron and a 7-wood, 2 shots we're really comfortable with, and we're assessing the lie. It's again on the top of the cow grass. Now I like to negate the effects of the rough and the different lies you get. That's why I use heel up chipping, because you don't have to think too much about how your club's going to react, because you're kind of picking it off with the toe of the club. And this one's going to me, looks like it's going to bounce a little right and then come a little left. So we are reading our chips just like we read our putts. So pitching wedge, we're going to land quite a bit onto the green. It's onto a downslope, and then it's onto an upslope where the hole is. Now we've got a beautiful 6-footer for the par. Do you believe in magic? No, I don't. Come on, yeah! Hitting a little pull. Bit strange, but we'll take that. Now I don't hit the 60 degree that much, so if I have to look at this shot and think that I have very minimal green to work with there, and I hit the 60, I'm probably going to go way underneath it, trying to do too much with it. Whereas a 56 degree's got a great amount of bounce to go through this soggy turf and get the ball on the green without doing anything super fancy. And actually, a little toe down chip might work real good here. So I'm going to put this a little bit left, and it should bump directly right off that slope on the green. Well, I put it a bit too far right, but you can see how it bumped off the slope. And we've left ourselves, I don't know, 10 feet or so. Absolutely money. Oh, man alive. Tricky hole. So we want to stay away from trouble. We've got fairway bunk on the left. We've got water here, water on the right, and water dead ahead of us. So all I really want is a golf ball in play, as we always say. Ball in play, ball in play. 6-iron. This is going to be the most reliable club I can possibly hit right now. Absolutely money. Left side of the fairway, brilliant. We have 260 yards remaining. So we want to avoid that bunker on the right. We don't want to have a final shot into a par 5 from a bunker. It's absolutely terrible. But we're going to shoot it up to that bunker, knowing we're not going to reach there, allowing me to have a more confidential swing. So I'm going to hit the 7-iron from 260 to the front and hopefully leave myself about 100 to 110 yards into the hole. That's exactly what I want into a par 5. Now Raymondo Floyd tells us we're not reading the lie correct, we're underclubbing, and we're hitting the ball too hard. So I'm going to take a pitching wedge from 125 to the middle of the green. I don't want to play back edge anymore because it's not working for me, because I know my distances. So the lie here is pretty fluffy on top of the cow grass. We're into the breeze slightly, so 125 with a pitching wedge is perfect. And I like to go, remember, not at the pin, right? We're going to go on the fat side, and we're going to go middle of the green, like center, toward the center of the green. So I'm going to go on the fat side, hoping or hitting a draw between the fat side edge and the pin. So then when I hit my draw, it draws to the hole, and if it goes straight, it stays on the fat side. Left is water. We don't want to go there. That's hazard. Remember, avoid penalties like crazy. Hit away from trouble. And then because I started out further right, I draw it, and it still stays on the green instead of going in the water. Well, a little bit more, huh? Raymondo Floyd tells us that We normally panic inside bunkers. I'm going to show you at this green, I'm going to hit in a bunker on purpose to show you how not to panic in a bunker. You know, something that may not be discussed so much is that sometimes hitting into the rough is absolutely money. When we talk about hitting away from trouble, we're talking about not going in that water. And if that means aiming into the rough for you, that's what you got to do. Don't aim down the middle of the fairway and bring the trouble into play when you've got a whole wide open space somewhere you can hit the ball. Now, it's not ideal, but then we have to take it into context. And the context is, do you want to remove penalty shots from your score to bring your score down under 90, under 80? Then you do that. But if you've got more skill, you can take on tighter lines. But if you notice, if you avoid trouble, you have less chance of taking on too much when you are in trouble, because you're going in trouble less. Then when you get the ball up and around the green, you start to hit more shots you know how to hit, simplifying your short game. And that's just the way it is. You've got to simplify this game down to the bare bones. Now I'm going to hit a 7-iron here from 184 to the middle, and I'm probably going to finish in that right-hand bunker there so I can show you how not to panic in a bunker. Now we've hit a perfect shot dead at the pin. Now when it comes to bunkias, amateurs appear to panic according to Raimondo. And I think part of it is people want to chip, people decelerate and keep the ball in the bunker. It's a very simple technique, but you have to practice it because it's difficult in the beginning. And the best way to practice it is without a ball. So what we do, we create a little line here and we just open that club face up, okay? That's a normal square face. We take our 56 degree and we rotate it open, let it lie on the sole of the club and grip it while it's open. Don't twist it in your hands. And then find a line and then try to smack the bottom of the club, the sole, against the turf. So you're gliding and sliding and bouncing off that turf. There's a certain sound like that. That's the sound you want. We want like that. And then we're going to hit that shot. Practice it without a ball. You're going to get the feeling of what it feels like. Then you have a little 1-inch line behind the ball here, and that's where you're going to slap that sole into and follow through. Always accelerating, no decel. So we open that face up, we hold it. Don't worry too much about aiming your stance. The most important thing, you want to play off your front heel, front toe, and then you want to give 80% of your weight into your left side. We don't want to fall back. That's when we hit it fat and stay in the bunker, or we thin it after it bounces off the bottom of the turf. So we keep it open, lean forward, and then we pick it up and we slap it with our wrists, using almost like our right wrist, trying to slap that sole into the turf. Money, absolute money. Now that's if you have a lot of sand, right? If you don't have much sand, there's not much in this place. So we can do a square bunker shot. It's the same thing though. Instead of opening the face, you hold it square as normal. This is for firmer turf or less sand, wet sand. Dead straight, don't worry too much where it is in the stance, but we just do a dig 1 inch behind the ball. So you're digging in, instead of bouncing off the turf with the sole of the club, now you're digging in with the leading edge and following through. So let's do that. And that comes out real tasteful like. Same distance shot, 2 different techniques based on the sand. Fluffier sand, you're holding that face open. Firmer ground, you can't do that because the bounce is going to be rejected by the turf. Much firmer, bouncing quicker. When you have sand, it accepts the bounce and then rejects it through the turf. That's how you stop panicking in bunkers. Go practice this. 1 inch behind the ball, open face, sole slapping, or edge digging, 1 inch behind the ball, firmer conditions. Easy game. Those are the 10 things we do as handicapped golfers that we can stop, and I've shown you how to do that, plus a few more additional tips. Don't stop believing. Keep going for that feeling. You're going to get it right. We're going to be fantastic players, the player you were meant to be.